for React authentication. I don't know how it's going to go. We're going to see. Also, I'm testing some stuff out, so please let me know if you're in the chat room, if the stream is working well. So we left off last week with an error because the Firebase library is incorrectly configured and is not booting up properly. Basically, it's not working. So today we're going to try to follow the Firebase instructions better and fix that part. I figured out, I think I figured out where we were going wrong. Let me just find the actual code. So in Firebase UI, we created a wrapper for Firebase that works with useAuth, and right around here where we are initializing Firebase, we have to fix how we are. We're gonna fix how we're importing it, and we're gonna fix how we're configuring it, because right now we're not providing any API keys or anything like that. So I'm gonna go here to the instructions on how to initialize and import this stuff, and we're gonna fix my imports. So we're gonna go up here where we are importing it. We're gonna say, why do we just import this? That's annoying. The core Firebase SDK is always required. So we're gonna say import Firebase from Firebase/app, and then we're going to import Firebase/auth. It's weird that we don't have to tell it what we're like. It's not being imported anywhere or whatever. So let's see, Firebase Auth, and then here we have, where is it? What do we have? How do we import the UI part? Firebase UI. So Firebase UI, let's see, import. Oh, okay. We can keep that part of the import. So come on, Firebase Auth, and then we say import Firebase from Firebase, right? Firebase from Firebase/app, and we're going to have to import Firebase/auth. Got those two. Down here, now where does it say Firebase config? We're going to, in the constructor, we need to Firebase initialize app. I see. So Firebase is a weird global that's kind of annoying. I don't know why they're making it a weird global. So here we're gonna let's see, Firebase. Let's call this Firebase with a capital, and then we say this dot Firebase equals Firebase dot initialize. Where is it? Firebase init CLI. No, I don't want to. Where does it tell me how to configure this? Where does the Firebase config go? Here we go. We say initialize app. So Firebase is Firebase.initialize app with the configuration, and then this configuration is going to need the API key, and we're going to need the auth domain. For Firebase, just measurement ID is optional. So what else do we need? Let's look at Firebase initialize app. The options object is not very well typed. That's kind of frustrating. Hey, right. Hey, Amandeep, how are you doing today? So Firebase UI initialize app API key. Where do I get my API key? How do I find out my API key and project ID and stuff? So we have this thing. We have my Firebase console. Come on, Firebase console. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well and staying safe. So authentication, sign-in method. Where do I find project settings? There we go. Project number, project web API key. I guess that's the API key that we use. Let's try that. API key. There are no apps in your project. Okay. Authentication. How do I find the auth domain? Get started. No, release and monitor, engage, add user. Wait, let's see. So how do I find the auth domain? It doesn't tell me. Will this tell me? Auth domain, project ID, firebase.app. So if we look for the project ID, project overview, project settings, is that the project ID? The global unique Google assigned identifier. Okay, I guess that's the project ID. So we say Firebase dot, that is, we get the project ID dot Firebase io.com. Yeah, and then the database URL. I don't need that. And then project ID is the project ID. Why can't they guess that themselves? Do I need anything else? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. So, okay, API key, my app project 123. Use auth demo. I guess that's the ID. Oh, right. Project ID. The project ID. Storage bucket. We don't need that, I think. App ID, measurement ID. Do I need all of those? Reserves, if we do not recommend manually editing your config object, especially the following required options. Obtain your Firebase config object. Okay. For your web app, project settings, and then what? Oh, I should have opened that in a new file. Your apps card, select config. Let's see. So we have this project settings. We click the in the your apps card. Okay, so we have this. Then we are in the settings, and then there are no apps. Select config from the. So is this a web app? Okay, my web app. Use auth demo. Register app. There we go. So that's the Firebase config that we need. We put that in here. Cool. No, why? Why did you copy all of that? So this should initialize our app. And now how do we get the authentication? So we need firebase.auth. We can do firebase.auth like that. And then down here, we're going to say firebase.auth, whatever, firebase.auth. Now I'm going to compile this and publish it, and then we can try it in the demo repository or the demo project. Yarn build. Let's see if yarn build succeeds. Pa-pa-da-pum. Come on. Okay, now let's see how long microbundle takes. Oh, I was gonna check if I know the URL in advance for these streams. Cool. That does work. Yeah, I hope it works too. But microbundle is being very slow right now. Adding Firebase Auth support to useAuth. Fingers. Oh, come on, work faster. Now, why is microbundle being so slow? So I uh nah. So if you were here last week, you'll remember that my microbundle builds were failing and erroring out with a weird memory error. That now works. Um, I was able to get it working with updating my node. I don't know why it wasn't working, but it seems to be working now. It's just very slow because I'm guessing because my computer is slow. I don't know why my computer is so slow today though. It's usually working faster. Yes, there's no external names. That's fine. There we go. So we got a bunch of stuff compiled. Let's say git. So I'm gonna run npm publish and look at my auth for the key. Oh, I know why my computer is slow. My computer is slow because it's warm in San Francisco today. Come on. And you'll remember that I have huge problems with the thermal performance of my laptop. Maybe I should just buy a Mac Mini or something for these live streams. That could be cool. Oh wait, no. So then we go here and we say yarn add. We're going to install the new version of React useAuth, and I'm using the approach of compiling and publishing the library and then installing the pre-build, because otherwise I run into weird issues with having multiple versions of React, and I never kind of figured out how to solve that other than just installing the library. Now let's see. We're going to run yarn start, and hopefully it's going to magically work. We'll see. And then if we get the basics working, we can then go ahead and start tinkering with making it more accessible or just like easier to use and figuring out the other features. Reason, image not found. Oh, right. I need to reinstall because I updated. Hey, Adrian Twarog, how are you doing today? Okay, yarn start. So this started just before. I hope it manages to start now as well. I don't know why it failed. Back at it again. Yes. Now, nice. Remove the node module sharp directory, run npm install, and look for errors. Oh, great. We're gonna do something that is unfortunately going to be slow. Oh no, what's wrong with your son, Adrian? I hope it's nothing serious. RM, wow, just removing node modules is slow, so I hope reinstalling them is gonna be fast. Yarn. Let's see. Come on, work. I need to figure out what I can do while we're waiting for slow things like this. I don't know, maybe if I knew how to breakdance like Scott Tolinsky, that would be cool. I could just like breakdance while we wait. Or try to start pulling funny faces. Explain coding memes. Okay, do you have a coding meme you want me to explain? It's been a while since I saw a really good one. Okay, so that's gonna, oh my god, that's installing 43,000 packages. What the fuck? That's just insane. All right, come on, building fresh packages. Okay, Adrian's gonna go get us some really cool memes. I love good memes. Mouse JPEG, whatever that does. Come on, computer, work faster. I wonder if this is a good excuse to buy an M1 Mac Mini. That could be interesting. Although I can't really afford one right now. Oh well. Come on, computer. Computer, you got this. By the way, can you hear my music in the background? Looks like you should be picking it up. Have you heard any good reviews about live coding or streaming with the M1? I heard you can't hear the music. Okay. It's really good music. I'm playing a Slovenian playlist because it's been a while. So I wonder if the M1 is good for streaming or if it's just good for their fancy metrics. I haven't really looked into it that much. Oh, come on. What are you waiting for, computer? Right. The CPU is fully pegged. That's what. All right. DM'd the link on Twitter. Let's see. So I'm going to open it on Twitter. Where is it? Messages. Oh, wow. Adrian, I'm sorry. I haven't accepted your things. I haven't gotten your DM yet. Okay. So I've heard everyone who has an M1. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about it. Everyone's been extremely excited, I think. I wonder if a deprecation warning, okay. Great. So we now have Gatsby starting up. We're gonna soon be able to test if the new way of integrating Firebase or if the updated way actually works. So now we'll see. It's in progress. Come on. Come on, build the development bundle. Oh. Come on, computer. You got this. Okay. Success. Let's load the page. Woo! No? Yes? Invalid time value in React useAuth. What? Okay, let's try an empty cache and hard reload. Come on. Come on, empty cache and hard reload. Okay, let's go to a new tab. Or actually, I'm gonna open it in incognito because I think it's getting confused about something from local storage. Okay, computer's being very slow today. Run. Yes, invalid time value. That's fair because there's nothing in local storage yet for our thing. So now Firebase UI, we need to render the Firebase UI auth container. And then when we click login, it should start the UI. So I'm gonna, wow. I don't know if you could see that, but my entire computer is laggy when I try to switch things. That's a problem. So I'm gonna go to index.js. Okay, index.js, and here we're going to render if is authenticated, blah, blah, blah. Let's render, oh, we have the Firebase auth container already. Cool. So now, if I click login, woo, it showed up. Sweet. So if we say swissits@swissits.com and we click next, I'm gonna create an account. Oh, Swissits, and then we need to choose a password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. I hope nobody uses that to hack into my Twitter. Save. No redirect URL has been found. You must either... Oh, awesome. Sweet. I'm glad my videos have been helpful, Amandeep. Have a good night. Cool. So now you must either specify a sign-in success URL in the configuration, pass in a redirect URL to the widget URL, or return false from the callback. Nice. Yes, I will be live streaming every Monday around this same time. So cool. Now we are unable to log in, which means we have to go back and continue configuring stuff. But the basic integration has started working. Yes. It will also be cool if we didn't have to render the... Okay, we'll figure that out later. Now let's see. We have this stuff. Now when we are initializing the app, we would want to get this config from the params that are passed into the auth config function when we're rendering it. So let's go here and we're gonna let's see, auth options. We're going to expand them with, actually, what should we expand them with? Let's figure out first what's all of the config that we need. So we have the Firebase UI is configured. Now let's see what else do we need. Firebase UI web. So multiple providers, account linking, customization, one-tap sign-in. And we should also, if we go here and look for authentication, I think my user is there now. Sweet. So we have a user. I'm going to delete this user just for testing purposes. Now let's see, what do we need? Firebase Authentication. Let's see if that needs any more configuration. Set up administrative access. No. Create a Firebase project. Register your app. We did that. We added the app itself, the app key, messaging, optional, install CLI. No. Access Firebase in your app. Okay, and then available libraries, additional setup options, delay loading, use multiple Firebase projects in a single app. Default Firestore, no, we don't need all of that. Initialize app, other project is okay. Okay, so we are going to want to have a name. So we're going to call this useAuth. Use the shorthand notation to access the default projects. Actually, use the other project variable to access. So we're gonna say this.firebase equals firebase.initialize app, and we're gonna name it useAuth. That way we're not taking over anybody's Firebase app that they already have on the page, because that would be frustrating. So we are gonna add private.ui is any, and we're gonna say private Firebase is the Firebase type, and let's call it any. Okay, so we have the Firebase, and we say this.firebase equals Firebase, other project.firestore. Then we say this.firebase.auth to give us the authentication provider or the authentication stuff. Local web server, next steps. Services. Okay, get started with Firebase. Okay. We're gonna figure that out in a little bit. So now we have the, we're gonna use the for now we're gonna start with using the Firebase UI, And then we're going to change it to support using either the Firebase UI or the custom integration if you want to. But I think we want to have both. Or yeah, I think we want to have both. So let's see. We're gonna have dispatch and then add the default params. We can use those. Configuration easier by guessing default options. So we get those. And then we can, let's see, what can we do? So when we are authorizing, we're going to take sign-in options and pass them in from our params. So we're going to save params in memory. La la la. Does that make sense? Yes. So we open the login dialog. We get the sign-in options. So this dot params dot sign in options. I think that's gonna work. So yes. So this dot params equals params. That's going to save everything for us. We say private. Let's call it like this. Private sign-in options is an array of strings, and we're going to say this dot sign-in options equals params dot sign-in options, and that's gonna be a fail. So we're going to have to start expanding auth options with provider options. Where are they? Provider options, auth 0 options, or we can take, what are the options that we want? Or Firebase options, and we're going to import Firebase options from here. Yes. So export type Firebase options equals, we're gonna have our sign in options, which are going to be a string. And the reason we're creating the sign-in options, or the reason we're creating Firebase options, is so that we can have a TypeScript type that's going to tell us what kind of options we expect if you're using Firebase. But we want to be able to import that without importing the entire library, which should make code splitting work better. But we'll see. I think that's going to work. We'll see how it works. Now, we have the Firebase, those options. We need to import them. Do we ever actually use providers dot auth 0 here, or type of providers dot Firebase UI, which now means we have to go into providers index.ts, and we need to export Firebase UI from /Firebase UI. Got that. So Firebase options, we need to import those. We are gonna get import Firebase options from /providers Firebase UI. Okay. So that's now defined. We're gonna be able to say, get me the sign-in options for Firebase when we are initializing the UI. We're initializing the UI down here. Auth options are provider options, Firebase options. That should work. I might need to restart. VS Code to pick up on the TypeScript changes. So we got those. This dot sign in options for authorize. Now let's see. it complained that we didn't have a redirect. State observer and get user data, Firebase auth, sign in with email and password. Okay, so public authorize. Now, what does this need to do? After you've authorized, let's see, what am I doing in auth0ts? So authorize is just calling the thing, but then when you are getting data and such, that's where we need to really make it work. So, okay, so when you authorize, we start the thing. Now let's see. State observer and get user data, Firebase auth on auth state changed. That's where we're gonna have to dispatch the different things to make it integrate with the rest of useAuth, right? I think so. Yes, that is true. So down here, where am I? Why is the scroll acting funny? So we initialize the app, we init our client. Then down here, params as Firebase options. Then what did I do in auth0 for? So I'm trying to make sure that add default params is not overwriting something that you did pass in. But I forgot how that works. So add default params. Yes. So we add the sign-in options, or we overwrite with your current values. Sign-in option is specified more than once, so this usage will be overwritten. This spread always overrides this property. That's because we need to make sign-in options to be a question mark. There we go. So that works. Now here, when we are initializing the client, we need to observe the current state. So auth state observer, and we say this.firebase.auth on auth dot on mounted on render tracked on auth state changed. We are going to call this dot on auth state changed, and now we're going to define it up here. Private on auth state changed, which is going to get the user and do stuff with that user. So what is the user type that we get? Of course, that's an any. Firebase, come on. Firebase, tell me what you look like, Firebase. Come on, go to the definition, just jump there. Firebase auth. Come on. Please be typed correctly. Aha. Interface user. I'm guessing that's going to be what we get back. Firebase.auth. Aha. So Firebase.auth gets this thing. Actually, let's look at on auth state changed. We get Firebase.user. Perfect. So we get firebase.user. Come on. Firebase.user, right? And apparently we can also actually check directly for the current user and stuff. So we're gonna do that as well. So when the auth state changes, we're going to, if the user is there, otherwise we're going to do other stuff. So if the user is there, we're going to dispatch this.dispatch. Now let's look at the state machine. So I'm gonna go to useAuth.dev and look at the, come on, wow, my computer is really having trouble. So abstract implementation, where's the API reference? There we go. So I need to look at this. We are starting in the unauthenticated state. So then we can dispatch. Let's see, how did I do this for Netlify identity? So Netlify identity, okay. We're gonna start by just logging the current user, just so we can see what's going on. Hi, and we console log the current user, and then on logout we're gonna trigger logout. So for the user ID, when we want to get the user ID, we're gonna call this dot firebase dot auth dot, why is this not working? Index.ts. So what does auth tell us? Where are you? Firebase auth. No, that's auth settings. Auth has the app. Current user. I know that current user exists somewhere. There we go. Dot current user. Ha. Firebase Ui. Dot current user. Dot. And I'm not getting any. Why is everything? So VS Code for some reason is not picking up the typings for Firebase, which is really frustrating. Okay, let's see. Firebase.user. How do we get the current user's ID? Firebase.user, a user account. Great. Properties, display name, email verified, metadata, photo URL, provider ID, refresh token, tenant ID, UID. There we go. So we get the UID from the user, and we're going to return that. We're going to look at roles later. Check session. We're going to look at that later as well. Cool. So I think that's gonna give us what we want. Let's see. So we are logging, console logging the current user. When the auth state changes, I'm gonna have to remember how we communicate that to the rest of our useAuth machinery, because I forgot. We're gonna see if we actually need to handle this, and then check session is going to do some other stuff. Yes, I think that should work. Let's see. So we're gonna build this again. Yarn build, and we're gonna wait for it to actually build. This part might take a while again, and that's frustrating. Let's see, come on, build faster, computer. Okay, computer, come on. So what I'm trying to figure out next is exactly how on auth state changed is going to behave, so that we can see when we are so that we can correctly react to the whole thing. And I also want to where is it? I want to make sure that we are calling the right functions and stuff. Fetch sign-in methods, a sign-in with email link. Get redirect result. Aha. User what? Redirect. The user is redirected to provider sign-in flow and then back. So I think, oh, what's failing here? Does not exist on type auth options. Okay. But it does. So auth options or Firebase options. So why is this not working? Okay, let's say, wait, dispatch, and then we splat in Firebase options, which we are getting from providers Firebase Ui, which is this stuff, and it's getting sign-in options, but then why isn't it working here? Okay, what if we do it like this? Will that make it happy? Okay. Now is it happy? Let's try yarn build again and see what happens. So I think one of the problems we're gonna have is figuring out what the weird error we got actually means. So this one, no redirect sign-in success URL in the configuration. Let's see. Firebase. What is sign-in success URL? Sign-in success URL. Aha. Okay. Oh, let's try fixing that. So here, where was it saying that? Sign in when we are down here. So when we are authorizing, let's say, let's start with sign in flow is a pop-up, and then we're going to get sign in success URL is going to be oh, okay, we can actually create that. So we're gonna say sign in success with auth result is going to be a function that gets the auth result and the redirect URL, right? So then we're going to do all of the right things. I'm gonna figure out what the right things are. User successfully return type determines whether we continue the redirect automatically or whether we leave that to developer to handle. So it would be nice if this had more typing. So here, sign in success with auth result, we're going to call the, what do we call? So we're gonna call this dot dispatch. Aha. So here we're going to say this dot dispatch, and we're going to send the login action to put us in the logging in state. And then we're going to this dot dispatch authenticated. Come on. Authenticated, which expects to get what? Authenticated, which expects the auth result and the user. So for auth result, I'm just gonna pass in the same auth result that we get. I'm gonna console log it here. Console log auth result so that we can see what we're getting. Authenticated, and then as the user, we're going to get the current user. So current user, do we have anything like that? User ID, log, sign up, log out, user ID, user roles. We're gonna just call this dot firebase dot auth dot current user. Right? That should work. We're gonna say, come on. We're gonna say this is an any, and this is most likely a string. Redirect URL. And now let's try yarn build again, and hopefully this is going to just magically work. That's, I mean, it's not gonna quite work yet, but I think we're getting pretty close. Now let's see if this manages to work faster. Come on, computer. You got this. Da-da-da-da-dum. Come on. Oh, wait. We need to also return true here. Return true, and now build again. So we're gonna have to wait again. Yeah, I really wish my computer was faster when it comes to this stuff, but there's a lot going on when I'm streaming. Come on. Come on, computer. Well, oh, let's see if Adrian managed to send me a meme to explain. So this is the meme he sent. It's that, oh, come on. No? Okay. My camera doesn't want to focus on that. It's funny. It says, me. I'm afraid of JavaScript keywords. Therapist. Tell me about this. And that's funny because this is one of the most annoying and frustrating JavaScript keywords. I don't even know how to begin to explain that. It really depends on when you started learning JavaScript. If you've been learning it recently and you've been using all of the latest best practices, you probably haven't even really seen the this keyword that much. Then again, we just used it here. So the thing with JavaScript is that you can change what this refers to depending on dynamic execution. So when you're executing a function, you can tell it to be executed in a different context which then causes all sorts of fun problems and confusion. So the main lesson there is just don't try to get too fancy with current context and scopes and stuff like that. Just use JavaScript like a normal person, and you will not have to be afraid of the keyword this. Come on. Why is this taking so long? Actually, I know why it's taking so long. It's just taking ridiculously long time when I'm streaming. There we go. Ba-ba-bam. Yay. Okay. So we update package.json and we say this is version 2102. I'm gonna commit this just in case. Nearly working Firebase Ui, npm publish, and we get the thing. So my auth key is easier to get on my watch. 493. Come on. Okay. Then we install the updated version. That should be relatively quick because we're making a pretty small update. Just one library that's getting updated. I don't know why it's going from 0 to 2000. That seems kind of like a lot, considering we just updated one library and not much more than that, or actually nothing more than that. And then we run yarn start, and we're gonna try this again. Wow, my computer is really struggling. It sounds like it's about to take off. Okay. In progress. Come on, finish doing the things. Come on. Come on. Almost. So this is going to be the last thing we try on today's stream, because then I have to go do other stuff. But we're making good progress here. It might not look like we're making good progress, but this is like the part where everything looks messy and terrible, and then suddenly it's going to click next time. Okay, so where were we? We reload the page. Yes, cannot read property UID of null, and that's a problem. Fuck's sake. Okay, let's fix that. But I don't want to recompile. Let's go into node modules and just open the file directly. So use auth Gatsby node modules. We order by name. We find React use auth. Come on, scroll. Come on. Come on, computer. React use auth. Oh, come on. Come on. React, where are you? React use auth. Nope, click this one. React use auth, and then in distribution, we're going to, let's go in, let's delete this one, and this one, so that we can be sure we are loading the specific file we want. We open Firebase Modern, go into, can I run prettier here? No, I cannot run prettier here. So let's make a new file, and just so that we can run prettier on it, desktop, blah.js. Come on, prettified. There we go. Put that back here. Okay, so we go here. This, where were we? Console log, Firebase Auth. Where do we have current user? If current user exists, then we're going to return it. Otherwise, we return null. That should be fine. So now I'm going to restart Gatsby, and hopefully it's going to load the new code that we changed directly in Node modules. And then we'll be able to check what's going on here. Or at least if it's working, or we're gonna basically check how close to working code we are. Okay, progress, come on. Come on. Can't resolve. Okay, we changed the wrong one. We're gonna have to go with the built version. So we're gonna have to compile again. And that's gonna take for fucking ever. But I really want to check this. Like that. Okay. Go here, yarn build. Let's see. Let's see, can the computer handle this? How warm is it? 20 Celsius? Wow. It's not even that warm. Why is the computer struggling so much? Okay. Come on. Run. Come on, computer. Come on. This is just silly. So if you watch this after the recording is published on YouTube, it's going to be much easier because you can jump across all of this terribleness. This is, as they call, bad radio. Definitely bad radio right now. Post edits for the win, yes. I don't tend to edit my live codings, but when it's recorded, you can just jump, you know. I need to figure out how to do the whole chapter thing that I've seen on some YouTube videos now, because I want to start adding those to the live coding versions. That would be cool. Then you can just jump to different parts of the stream and see what it was about and what happened. Come on. Can the computer handle this? Did I update this already? Did I update? Yeah, I think I updated the version. Now let's see. Computer, you got this. Oh, interesting. I did not know that you can just add them in the descriptions. Thanks, Adrian. That's a really cool tip. Okay, so npm publish, and then we get my auth code. Come on. Yes, it published. Now we can add it here. And once it installs, we'll hopefully be very close to a working version of this. Maybe I should start doing some research before I do the live codings, but I kind of like to go in raw and just hope for the best, because I think it's important to show that this stuff is actually, actual coding is nothing like a tutorial. Yarn start. Let's see. Okay, Gatsby develop. Come on, run faster. Yeah, isn't it weird how tutorials always go perfectly and everything goes exactly to plan? And then you try it in real life and it's like, that's not how it works. Not at all how it works. Okay. Come on, build the development bundle. You can do this, computer. Aha. Success. So now I should. Okay, did you manage to refresh? Okay. We don't have the current user. That printed from. Where did it print from? Come on. Firebase Ui. So if we go here, the word hi prints where? Hi prints here. On auth state changed. Nice. What kind of tutorial was it, Adrian? So I click login. I get the thing. Invalid config. Sign in success with auth result. Okay, just tells me it's an invalid config. That's not very useful. So I'm gonna write, let's see, what does this actually mean? Invalid config, sign in success with auth result. Or I think I need to copy this as well and search for it. Okay. Firebase UI web. Okay. That's not. How is this a useful? God damn it, Google. Okay. Google search is not useful for Google errors. So I'm going to type swizit at swizit.com. Next. Swiz 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. And when we click save, aha, no redirect URL has been found. You must either specify a sign-in success URL, pass in a redirect URL to the widget, or return false from the callback, okay? But we got an auth result, which is very confusing. How is this useful? How is anyone supposed to debug this stuff? Oh, wait, no, that is the high. When we render high, the user that we got back is this. What? How is this useful? Oh, it's not actually the user that we get back. It's all sorts of stuff. Cool. But we did also get the display name, the email, whether the email is verified, is anonymous, LM, cool. Phone number, photo URL. So it turns out that Firebase, when it says we're gonna return the user, actually returns the entire Firebase library with user data interspersed in the whole thing, which kind of looks like a trash fire to me. And I think that's just a terrible way to build a library. And on that terrible disappointment, we're going to end for today. And I'll see you again next Monday when we're going to get this finally working. And there's going to be a write up on what we did today and the lessons we learned tomorrow on my emails. So if you subscribe or you go to my blog or wherever you get my updates, you'll see it tomorrow. Bye.